Hey, happy Wednesday. I am filming this on Tuesday because my Wednesday is going to be insane. One of the reasons why my Wednesday is going to be insane is because my 13-year-old is going to turn 14 in 2 weeks. He's going into 9th grade next year. For some of you who are following me on social media, or you're a friend of mine, or you're my family or something like that, you know that I was taken aback by the amount of work that it takes to get your child a decent education in New York City. You think that because there is so much opportunity that the kid can just pick a direction and go. And he kind of can, but parents need to facilitate. When I got pregnant 14 years ago, technically, I guess it was almost 15 years ago, which is crazy. I never thought about auditioning for high school. I never thought about the application process. I never thought about being in the PTA. I'm not a mother type. I'm a mother. I've calmed down so much. You guys, you don't even know. Before I had kids, I was a lot different. One of the reasons why I sort of chose the whole MetallicaMom branding thing, and it is a brand. It's something that I've been working on since way before YouTube, before I was a health coach, before all that. That was foresight on my part, I guess. One of the reasons why I came up with that phrase was because I had gotten a car and I wanted to design a bumper sticker for the back that was very me. And I was going through, on Amazon, and I saw there was one that was like Metal Chick, and the M and the K, had the Metallica logo kind of a thing. I said, well, maybe I'll just design my own, because everybody's got those little stick figures on the back of their car. Or at least that used to be the biggest thing. Just MetallicaMom kind of just ran off my tongue, But one of the reasons why I sort of came up with that is because I did struggle for a long time with, I'm giving up my carefree, youngish person identity to now take care of somebody else, which is something that to be perfectly honest with you, when we found out that, Austin was on the way, and Austin knows this, it was a surprise. I struggled with it. I felt like, the universe was handing me something that I didn't ask for, which technically that's exactly what happened. But I had to, sort of internally, go through that mental and emotional struggle and say, okay, what's the right thing to do here? Obviously, I made the right decision. Oftentimes I make the right decision. I'll say that. I can give myself that prop. I do make a lot of good decisions. I don't always, execute great. So when we decide that we're going to, start this family, and then of course Randy came right after Austin, that was a 100% conscious decision. I never thought about this whole preteen teen thing. In fact, I was kind of looking forward I'm doing a lot of air quotes these days. I don't know why. I was kind of looking forward to it because I said, okay, so, once they get grown up, I can kind of, hang with them and chill. And I can, and it's very cool. And my kids are not just best friends with each other, but they also are they'll have conversations with me. I have friends that have daughters, and their daughters don't shut up. And parents who have boys say that they never say a word. And that's the absolute truth, at least from my perspective. They're at school for 7 hours, 6.5 hours, and I picked them up from school and I say, okay, how was your day? Fine. What'd you do today? Nothing. What was for lunch? Food. It's just, I have to dig and dig and dig, because this is another thing that I never considered when I considered parenting. My kids don't need extra help. And that causes them to fall through the cracks. They go to a school that has a lot of IEPs, I think it's called. I should probably look it up. Hold on one second. Okay, I've got my iPad right here. IEP stands for Individualized Education Program. At least I have the initials right. It is developed for public school children who have special needs. So my kids don't have special needs, but yet they go to a school that is integrated with a lot of IEPs, okay? They have something called Nest. They have something called Horizon. I don't know the difference because I didn't have to learn that, okay? My kids didn't need that. I feel very fortunate that they don't trust me. But when your kids are going to a school that's integrated like that, and they don't need the extra help, and their grades aren't failing, and they're not getting into trouble, and there aren't behavioral problems, and there aren't social problems, the kid gets lost in the shuffle. So it's very important for us as parents to be proactive and facilitate. My kids both have friends that their parents are completely uninvolved. And their friends are not IEP children, and those children have completely fallen through the cracks, and it breaks my heart. I even tried to set up an 8th grade council committee, so to speak, because my kids go to a school that is pre-K through 8th grade. In New York City, that's actually rare, okay? Not rare, but few and far between. One of the reasons why we chose the apartment that we chose is because we were zoned for that school, and I liked the idea that my kids were going to be going to school in the same school for a very long period of time. What's great is that they have forged friendships that started when they were 4 years old, you know, both of them. And now these kids, at least in Austin's class, they're suddenly going to be in a school for the first time. Like they've never switched schools before. At least a lot of them haven't. And some of them have, obviously. Because my kid doesn't speak, because he's 13 and he's a boy and he's completely involved in his phone, and don't ask what's on that phone because I refuse to look at it. I don't even want to touch it unless it's sanitized, okay? I'm trying to like draw out of him if he's nervous about going to a new school, if he's nervous about having to make new friends, because he will. I know that he will. About curriculum, about all that stuff, and he's just completely clammed up. Now, I think that if the other kids, if everybody could sort of sit in the round, this is like not me, okay? 15 years ago, if you had said that I wanted to advocate for an 8th grade committee so that the children can make the transition into high school better, I would have said, you're not talking about me. Andrea Santoro? No, that's not who she is. But because it's my kid, now I care. And because I have kids, now I care about other kids, right? I tried to form an 8th grade committee, and the school was just very resistant against it, which kind of pissed me off. Well, we haven't done that in the past, so we don't do that. And I hate that philosophy. I cannot stand that philosophy. It's one of the reasons why I would get frustrated as a health coach. People would be on track and they would be eating like 1,000 calories a day and going to the gym like maybe 3 times a week, or even just walking at night or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, so my boyfriend broke up with me, and when that happens to me, I eat cake. And it's like, well, just because that happened in the past doesn't mean that that needs to continue to happen. Change is good. Growth is good. So I have to just make sure that I am proactive in my kid. I can't change society. One mom cannot change a school of 700 kids. I can try, and I can be available, and that's why I'm on the board of the PTA. That's why I try to be there as often as I can. Whatever. So now this week, my kid has to get programmed. I hate that term, but we heard it a couple of times. We went to an open house at his new high school. And they had an assembly, which was great, and it explained a lot of things because I've never had a kid that went from 8th to 9th grade. So I'm like doing this all for the first time. Because even when I went from 8th grade to 9th grade, I went to a school that was kindergarten through 12th grade because I grew up in a rural area. So they answered a lot of questions, but it turns out that he needs to be programmed. In other words, he needs to make an appointment. So this is where it's like, wow, the kid is only 13 years old and you're expecting him to do this. I have to help him. I'm going to facilitate. Like I said, I'm using that word 5,000 times today. He needs to make an appointment at the new high school with the guidance counselor. And supposedly their schedule is online. I have to find out where I get this website. I think something is going to be mailed home to me, but I'm not sure. He has to make an appointment that's appropriate for his schedule. And he needs to go there, and he needs to sit down with the guidance counselor with his current report card and go over the classes that he wants to take, the classes that he has to take, his level of education thus far. He wants to take Italian, which makes my heart warm. He is choosing to step away from Mandarin. He's been taking Mandarin for 3 years. We live in Flushing. It's more Asian than me, okay? A requirement by the school that he takes Mandarin for 2 years. So he's done that. He has 100 average. Like, what? It's not even a Latin-based language, but okay. Supposedly the philosophy is that, in 30 years, if you want to get into any kind of a business or job that has anything to do with finance, you need to know Mandarin, which is crazy. So it's good that they're getting this early. But he wants to step away from that because he wants to go into theater, okay? So he wants to learn Italian. And I love that. He was also thinking Latin, and I'm just like, whoa. That's great if you want to read music extensively, or if you want to study medicine, Latin is perfect. He's already in a 9th grade science program right now, and he's in 8th grade. So the science is going to be challenging, but he's going into a theater program, which is at least 2 or 3 periods a day, I think, of, theater history, performance, projection, that kind of thing. So we have to do that this week. We have to get him programmed. I have to get my kid programmed. So this is a babbling video. Sorry if you found it interesting, whatever. It's been an interesting ride. From kindergarten through 5th grade, it was like just smooth sailing. And that's when I wasn't even involved with the school or anything. I was just making sure that my kid was culturally enriched at home. And as long as the teacher wasn't calling me up and telling me that my kid is eating pencils or something, I was okay with that. But now all of a sudden, it's like now that he's becoming a person, he has not just goals. Well, it's hard to get a goal out of 12 and 13-year-old boys, okay? They have preferences and they have passions. And I want to feed that. And it's tough because I'm busy, So I'm not going to have time, a lot of time for my Scentsy business. I went to the gym 4 days in a row. And now today, tomorrow, Thursday, I'm not going to be able to go. So it's like, I have to put my own stuff down in order to help them because I don't want my kids to be latchkey, both physically or emotionally. I don't want them to feel like they're alone. I don't want them to have to do anything alone unless they want to. And they have expressed the ability to handle that. So there you go. Happy Wednesday, April 17th. Talk to you later.